Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. And today we're going to be talking about navigating the internet. That's purpose of this meeting for today. Thank you for joining this meeting. And once it's over, please stay around for a little longer because there's going to be some announcements. And yeah, our mission as Mittler Senior Tech is to educate seniors about technology. As yeah. It is the responsibility of a younger generation to educate seniors about tech. The goal of Mittler Senior Tech is to create the issue of social isolation within senior communities, and to help seniors feel more connected with our new world of tech. Our personalized classes strive to educate seniors on how to communicate with friends and family in the manner in which the world is accustomed to today, and how to use technological tools to enhance and simplify their daily lives. Basically, we're here to help educate seniors on tech and to help them feel more accustomed and less afraid to use tech. So far, we have educated over 3,500 seniors in 10 different countries, and we've had more than 450 classes taught. Our agenda for today is to go over a few things. What is the internet? How does it work? What is the World Wide Web, and what are people referring to when they say it? What are web addresses? What can you do online, and what is using the internet? And without further ado, I will hand it off to Ella Basha.
Hi everyone. So basically, like we already said, we're gonna kind of teach you the basics of the internet, how it works. So firstly, we're gonna define the internet. So what is the internet? The internet is a global network of billions of computers that make it possible to access almost any information, communicate with anyone else in the world, and do much more. So it's basically just like a way to get you in communication with people from everywhere. Okay. I'm sure many of you have used the internet before or at least heard of it. Right now, you're actually using it being on Zoom. So before we get into its actual use, let's discuss how it works. Similar to electricity, you use it but don't know how it works. Next. When many people think of the internet, they think of a cloud. This is not accurate, and even in the new age of cloud computing, iCloud means backing up data. Next. This is the internet. It's a wire. It's buried in the ground. Now these little images are servers, and they connect directly to the internet, which is once again just a wire. These servers are a computer connected to the internet that can listen for and respond to messages. They can communicate with each other through the internet being the wire. So you see that they're both connected to the wire. Every server has a unique internet protocol access, or IP address. Just like a postal address, IP addresses help computers find each other. So you see how on all of these different servers, they all have their separate IP addresses, almost like a postal code. Next. Okay. So this is how it works. Your computer at home is not a server, like AOL and Gmail here, because it's not connected to the daily is because it's not connected daily to the internet. Our computers are called clients because they connect indirectly to the internet. Now, how does that work? Through an ISP, an internet service provider, meaning Wi-Fi, so Verizon, Fios, Spectrum, AT&T, and T-Mobile. These are the things that help us connect to the internet and the servers. So you see here in this diagram, our computer is connected to ISP, meaning Wi-Fi, which is connected to the wire of the internet. Okay. Now, if I wanted to visit AOL.com, I hop onto my laptop and go through my ISP onto the network and look at AOL.com. So I basically follow the orange line. I go to my ISP and the ISP takes me to the internet and then to AOL. My computer connects with AOL.com and I can browse through all of its web pages and content. Okay. Now let's say I wanted to send an email. Client 2, my friend on the diagram, has an AOL account, and client 1, like me, has a Gmail account. What would need to happen? Next slide. I log on to my Gmail through my ISP, again, the Wi-Fi, and compose a message direct to client 2, which for example purposes is client2 at AOL.com. So you see, I basically follow the orange line once again. And this is just a breakthrough of how communication works in the internet. Okay, next slide. Once I click send, gmail.com sends the email to AOL.com through the internet. So you see, again, we follow the orange line, and this is how the servers use the internet to communicate. Now, how does client 2 access his AOL email account? Next. The next day, when client 2 checks AOL.com, he uses his ISP and retrieves the email. So he uses his own Wi-Fi ISP to get the email that was sent from client 1 to client 2 through the orange line once again. Great. Now you guys are the top 10% of people who understand the internet. And this is so crucial in order to really make it work and really do what needs to be done when you guys are looking to do a certain task. Okay, next we're going to cover online safety, meaning strong passwords, spam, malware, safe online shopping, and browser tracking. Computers can often give us a false sense of security, and after all, no one can physically harm you through the computer screen. But to stay safe online, you want to take a more cautious approach. You shouldn't be afraid to use the internet, but remember that it comes with many of the same risks you'd face in the real world. The World Wide Web is the information space on the internet where documents and other resources are stored, otherwise seen as www. So often you see this a lot before a link or before you press on something. And the World Wide Web, usually called the web for short, is a collection of different websites you can access through the internet. The web is one application running on the top of the internet, allowing us to get web pages. Other applications like Zoom provide video conferencing, and email is another application as well. Websites. So the definition of a website is a specific place or address on the World Wide Web where information can be shared. A website is made of related text, images, and other resources. Websites can resemble other forms of media, like newspapers or television programs, or they can be interactive in a way that's unique to computers. The purpose of a website can be almost anything: a news platform, an advertisement, an online library, a forum for sharing images, or an education site like us. Next. So these are some examples of internet browsers. So you guys may have seen things like Google Chrome on the left, Microsoft Edge in the middle, and Apple Safari on the right. A software application for accessing information on the World Wide Web is some of these above. And a web browser itself is not the internet. It only displays websites that are stored on the internet. We will be focusing on Google Chrome, the most popular, accessible to both Apple and PC users. Okay, next. Oh, wait, skip back. Okay. So these are some search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo, which you guys may be familiar with or maybe not. These are designed to carry out web searches through an internet browser. We'll be focusing on Google, the most popular, and I personally recommend this for beginners, as it is the most easy to understand. Next, this is an example of a web address. So you guys may have seen something like this or may have not, but this is how your computer looks for a specific web page, a specific address. It's almost like a street address, which each part providing us with a different piece of information. Let's go through them. So HTTP is a scheme. It tells your browser what type of address it is so the browser connects to it correctly. For typical web browsing, you will mostly see HTTPs, which stand for Hypertext Transfer Protocols. You don't need to put it in. but note that HTTP is a secure version of HTTPS. Next. www. So www is the host name that, by convention, indicates to us that this is a World Wide Web service. It is not required, so today many websites aren't configured to include it, but you may see it. Okay. Um, example Google examples can be Google, Apple, or Wikipedia, and the website name tells you the company that owns the site that you're looking at. Next, the final part, .com, .org, .edu, .gov. This is the domain, and it conventionally indicates the type of website, like a commercial website for .com or an organizational for .org. Now, there are hundreds of domains. Okay, next. So this is just to put it all together. This is the final address of the website. So after we've picked apart each color and each part, you guys will understand how each part of the link represents a different way to get your computer to go to the site that you need. Um, what can you do online? So now we're gonna go over it in the next slide. You can find information, you can communicate, you can social network, you can use online media and do everyday tasks. You can find information with billions of websites online today. There's lots of information on the internet. Search engines make this information easier to find, and all you have to do is type one or more keywords, and the search engine will look for relevant websites. Communication, emails, a way to receive and send text messages across the internet. Social networking, connect and share with friends and family online. As opposed to email and message, social network makes it easy to connect and share with many people at the same time. For example, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Online media, watch videos and listen to music like YouTube, Netflix, Spotify, and Pandora. Everyday tasks and errands, manage bank accounts, pay your bills, online shopping, etc. This is mostly used for convenience. Okay, and now Andrew will take it from here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ella Basha, for a great job at teaching. I think we can all give a round of applause. No, I'm kidding. But so to recap some of what she said, Google Chrome is, in my opinion, one of the best browsers, as it's one of the simplest, easiest to use, and it offers a very wide variety of things you can do on it. Like how on the previous slide we were talking about what you can do. So when you when you search up something and it begins with www, that stands for World Wide Web. At the top, right? So yeah, so you see how it says that, Um, the right next to that where there's a little plus icon, that's to open a new tab. So if you want to have YouTube open, but you also want to check your emails while not having to make a new window, you can open a new tab and do that. Um, if you ever want to get rid of a tab, you can click on the X icon if you no longer need it. Um, if you're visiting a website and you clicked on something that you didn't mean to and you want to go back, then you can click on the back arrow icon, the arrow facing left at the top left. That will take you back before what you just did. Um, searching. So if you're searching for something, so for example, if you search YouTube, for example, if you search YouTube, then it'll give you without without searching a direct website, if you're just searching something while not typing .com at the end, Google will give you different options on on which links it'll give you. So if you search up YouTube or YouTube.com, it won't take you to the same place. Searching YouTube.com will take you to YouTube versus just searching YouTube will will give you a link to get to YouTube. So you can see there. So they're not the same thing. if you have a website that you visit often, what you can do is that you can bookmark it. So, for example, if you go to YouTube and yeah, like so, then at the top right, the hollow star icon is to bookmark it. If you click on it, it'll then be not hollow. It'll be, and you can title it and then you click done. That way, now when you open Google or if you open a new tab, it'll be right under the search bar or in the bookmarked section. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or right under the search bar. You can check how it says, oh, there's Google, there's YouTube, and there's some that are there by default. Now, sometimes if you're on a certain page like emails, then you're gonna have to refresh it because it's not receiving constant updates from the server. So Gmail specifically have their own button for it, which is right there as you can see. But for let's say another website, you would have to actually click at the top left the refresh icon. So for example, yeah, he's on Google. So you'd have to click the refresh icon. That's really only necessary if you've either A, been idle from your computer for a long time and you're just going back to it, or B, you want the page to refresh for certain reasons. So yeah, the last thing that we're going to do is that sometimes Google has something called autocorrect, or well, it has a bunch of other names. But when you're searching something up, it'll sometimes try to guess what you're going to search and fill it in for you. So if you even search up like GOOG, then it'll think, oh yeah, see, oh he probably wants to search up Google. How does it know that? That's very complicated, and we'll get into that a different time. But yeah, sometimes it'll be right, sometimes it'll be wrong. If it's ever wrong, then just hit backspace and it'll not guess what you're trying to say, and you'll have to do it the rest by yourself. Another thing you can do is that when searching up something, googly eyes. When searching up something, you can sort it by right under where you search for something, or right under the search bar. There's all, there's images, there's shopping, videos, news, and so on and so forth. So if you're trying to find a funny googly eyes picture, then you can click on images to only show images, and now you'll have pictures of, yeah. Or if you want to find videos, then you can click on videos, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing that you can do with Google, which is pretty cool, is if you don't have access to a calculator, then you can type in a complex math equation into your search bar, and it'll come up with the answer. So yeah, there you go. So if you do 1 plus 1, or why don't we try something a a little more complicated? Sure. Three three to the power of 10. Go ahead. Oh, wow. Plus 54. Okay, right. So you get the point. You could put in a complex math equation that you probably wouldn't be able to do on paper or with a standard quote unquote dumb calculator that you can put it in into Google. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It'll do it for you. Yeah, exactly. Another thing you can do with Google, which is pretty cool, which you can also do on your phone, but that's for a different time, is you can search up the weather for your current location. If you don't give it access to your location, then it's a little bit different. So right now, it'll give you an option to. You don't have to, but if you search up like what's the weather in, let's say, New York City or the Upper East Side, then it'll give you a graph. It'll tell you, so on and so forth. Um, um, Another use that you can do is, let's say, for example, I wanted to search up a recipe, right? If I wanted to search up chocolate chip cookie recipe. Now, a lot of things may come up when I search that aren't exactly what I want. So I can make my search a little more complicated and say, for example, give me a chocolate chip cookie recipe like in under 30 minutes, right? Or like a vegetarian chocolate chip cookie, which, yeah, you can now. this applies not only to, searching recipes, but in general, when you're trying to find something a little more specific, you can refine your search to be a little more specific. But I wouldn't go overboard because sometimes that'll confuse the browser, so to speak, and that'll make it like more difficult. But yeah, so you can search up as he's doing right now, and you can use hyphens along with plus to refine your search as Ethan's doing right now. Yeah. Or sorry, not a hyphen, a dash or a subtraction symbol. And one more cool thing you can do, and then I'll wrap it up, is that if you wanted to, if you're planning out a trip and you wanted to search up like a map, for example, right? Let's say Google a map from New York City to, let's say, New Jersey, right? If you search that up like such, and then go to maps or actually sometimes it'll show you right there. But so it'll show you the different routes or ways of getting there. So for example, you can choose at the top left by train, by foot, by car, by bike. By plane would be an option, but in this case, I guess it's not because they're not gonna have planes for such short distances. But and it'll give you the fastest ways to get there. It'll give you ways with no tolls, the most efficient, and so on and so forth. So if you're ever planning out a trip, then you can do it like that, which I think is very cool. And you can put in a more exact address, not like just, oh, New York to New Jersey. Like you can do just use a certain zip code like 1157 to like I don't know New Jersey's zip code so well, but you get the point. Um Yeah, so that's a cool little feature that you can do, and you can view the different routes and so on and so forth. Um, One more thing that I'll say is that you can always add at the end of your search near me. So if I search up, oh, like kosher pizza place near me, as long as you give it access to your general or specific location, then it'll come up with different ones. In fact, you can search, oh, like within like a 1 mile radius or like, XYZ radius. Because obviously, if you just search a pizza, it won't know, it'll think it won't know you want to have one near you. But so if you do pizza within like, yeah, like within 1 mile, then it'll give you different options and it'll tell you how far away it is or its exact address. So yeah, that's a neat little feature. In fact, there's actually an option that you can click call near me because it can kind of guess that that's what you're trying to go for. Anyway, moving on. Oh, well, one more thing that I'll do before we move on is that rather than having to have, an entire encyclopedia or dictionary, you can just search up the definition of blank. Let's say I want to know the definition of um what's a complicated word? Deoxy, I don't even know how to say that. But let's see what's the definition of that? cDNA. Okay, so right, so that's just DNA. But so if we want to define, let's say, like a really big word, whatever, like that we don't know, then we can just say define blank or, the word definition. Yeah, so like automobile or like shower. Yeah, sure. So and it'll give you the official Oxford definition of those words along with the fact that you can do it in different languages, which we'll get to now. If you want to translate something, then what you can do is, well, first off, if you want to translate a certain word, then on the middle right side, there's an option to translate. But in my opinion, the easier way to do it is to Google English to whatever language you're trying to translate to, or, you know, so let's say we're gonna do English to Bulgarian, sure. And we're trying to Okay, okay. Very very funny, Ethan. So if we're trying to translate certain words, then we can just type them on the left side in the English part, and it'll translate it for us. And then the little clipboard icon means we can copy that and put it somewhere else because obviously we don't know how, or I'm assuming we don't know how to type that. So yeah, so keep in mind though that Google Translate is mostly accurate, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's 100%. So take it with a grain of salt, obviously. But yeah, so or there's an option for detect language where you can type anything you want and it'll yeah exactly and it'll find it out for you. So for example, Ethan's doing Hebrew and it'll but as it says right yeah so this one would be Spanish. Again, I just want to reiterate that keep in mind it's not 100% accurate, so take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, moving on. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you can translate. There you go. Moving on. Um, the last thing that I'll go over, and actually the last thing this time, is at the top right. There are nine squares, and as an icon, it's a little hard to uh yeah, called Google Apps. Basically, it has all of the Google Apps in there, like Meet, Chat, Docs, Sheets, Slides, and and so on. So from there, you can access any of those apps rather than having to search it up manually. Um, I would go over what all the different ones are, but we don't have kind of time for that. But basically, know that you can access all of them directly from there, which is very cool. Moving on to the next slide. So far in the past year, or a little over a year, we've had 11 live classes, 34 Tech Tip Tuesdays, over 12,000 views. W- We've taught people in 15 different countries, and we've had 12 sponsors. Next, I just want to congratulate our graduating members, or I'll leave that for oh, sorry, last thing. Um, this is the last um as of season six. That was a 2023 to 2024. Um, in the next season, we will offer more classes such as computer and smartphone basics, along with more advanced computers and smartphone classes for people who are more advanced. If you want more information on it, then go to mittlersenior.technology/class info. Yeah. If you'd like to support us, please go to mittlersenior.technology/donate, where you can sponsor an upcoming class or a Tech Tip Tuesday, or purchase some of our services. Yeah, there you go. And now for a special thank you to Ella Basha, Ethan Weiss, and myself for teaching and making this lesson possible. Once again, if you need more information on certain classes, or you'd like to ask questions, or even donate, the links are below. mittlersenior.technology/class info to donate. mittlersenior.technology/donate, and to ask questions, info at mittlerseniortech.com. Thank you.